This episode of Kind of Funny Gamescast is brought to you by Mack Weldon. Mack Weldon believes in smart design, premium fabrics, and simple shopping. They got socks, shirts, undershirts, hoodies, sweatpants, and the most comfortable underwear my tush has ever had the pleasure of meeting. Most importantly, they're all about comfort. So if you don't like your first pair, you can keep it, and then they'll still refund you. No questions asked. Here's one of the coolest things. They have a line of silver underwear and shirts that are naturally antimicrobial. That's a fancy word that means it eliminates odor, so it'll probably help people. Like, I'm not going to name any names like Kevin or anything, but it'd probably help him. It's good for working out, going to work, going on dates. You know, I'm not really sure there's any situation they aren't great for, at least any situation that requires wearing underwear. You know, you feel me? Talking about sex. Go to MackWeldon.com and get 20% off using promo code GAMESCAST. What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 110 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast.
We old.
We are old. We're really old.
You know, 4 episodes
One
to our
day.
2 anniversary then.
We'll be dead. Yeah, that doesn't actually check out perfectly.
Fucking shit.
Because we do things all weird. There's like E3. Because I was thinking about that actually recently. But there's
E3,
certain weeks where we do more than one.
Right.
And, we know whatever. Blah, 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 blah. I'm Tim Gettys, joined by one half the coolest dudes in video games, Greg Miller. Oh, you got that? Is that Patreon money?
That's that rent money.
Oh,
I gotta pay my rent.
You can go to patreon.com/kindoffunny. Colin is on duty.
On location.
Somewhere.
Down in LA. Today's the day we're recording the day he did the Rubin Report.
The Rubin Report.
That's been
yes.
announced. That's all set. You can say
cool.
that.
Great. He's there. He's doing stuff. He's reporting on Rubens. I'm very excited about all of this.
That'd be awesome if the show was talking about Reuben sandwiches.
Yeah.
Or like, Paul
Just other
Rubens or
Rubens
whoever.
that he's a
Yeah,
big fan of.
Reuben from American Idol.
Joel Rubin, formerly of Funhouse.
No.
He was one of the Funhouse guys. I don't think you ever met him. He was like
You made that up.
old
You made that up.
Funhouse. Inside Gaming. It's a whole thing.
Okay.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
You excited for the Gamescast?
Hell yeah, I'm
I like
excited
talking
for the
to you. I like
Gamescast.
hanging out with
Yeah,
you.
I like this. I like how far we are from each
I'll
other.
tell you what, man. Like we talk about this all the time off camera. I love the different dynamics we all have, and the way we've been breaking up the morning show has been great because you get to do it with different people. And like Nick and I have a vibe, and you and I have a vibe, and stuff like that. But then to have I love P.S. I Love You because in general I like the show, but Colin and I have that rhythm. To actually do a video game podcast with you one-on-one is awesome because we don't get to ever do it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to have Steve Gaynor this whole episode, but a scheduling snafu with GDC. He joins us for topic 4, answers your questions.
So we did a Let's Play with
us.
you.
Yeah.
That will be live on a Wednesday.
Kevin, let's make that next one. Let's do that. Wednesday's Tacoma, okay? Thanks, Kev.
So that'll be great. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
And then Steve Gaynor, Mr. Gone Home.
Mr. Gone Home, Mr. Tacoma. Mr.
We'll be
Bioshock 2,
for the
Minerva's
fourth
Den.
topic of this show.
Yeah.
This illustrious show.
This illustrious
the Kind
show.
of Funny Gamescast.
Right.
Let's see, Rick Morroll, Kind of Funny Gamescast, each and every week, get together, talk video games, all the things we love about them and all that stuff, industry things, whatever. You can get it early at patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, or you can get it late at youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. A lot of people asking, when do you get it on time? Impossible feat.
You can't do it. There's no
you
thing.
You just can't do it.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I'd like to give a shout out to you, the fans of the Kind of Funny Gamescast.
Oh, I thought you were gonna
I
say
think on P.S. I Love You, XOXO, right? I'm always like, #1 PlayStation podcast, right? And we talk about things there and the other, and I feel like we never talk and celebrate the fact that the Gamescast is so popular.
Always.
Because it just happened. I don't know if you've checked the Twitter that I just retweeted. Somebody tweeted at us, and he's like, P.S. I Love You, XOXO is the #1 gaming podcast on iTunes in Australia. And I was like, oh, that's cool. We beat Car Talk. And then you look down, and there's Gamescast at 8 getting
Hell
no
yeah.
love. No one's mentioning that this thing's in the top 10 all the time, too.
People do. It's awesome. But again, thank you for supporting the show so much. And all the shows, the morning shows now available on podcast services, and that's doing super well.
Sure.
We're nailing it. Like we're
doing
charting.
great in 2017.
We're charting.
We're charting is what they call?
We charting.
Does the morning show chart?
The morning show is like crazy chart. Like,
what is it even under?
here's
What
the
do we
thing.
file
The
it
iTunes
under?
chart works in such a weird way where no one really understands it.
Great point.
But from my understanding, it works in that every day it is updated. So whenever a new episode comes out, like you'll notice, Gamescast is super high on Fridays.
Sure.
And then it drops off. P.S. I Love You, because it has that Tuesday. Most podcasts aren't coming out those other days.
Gotcha.
It gets that extra
Makes
oomph, right?
sense.
But guess what? Kind of Funny Morning Show That
It's
shit's
daily.
daily,
so
son.
fuck you, everybody.
Yeah, so it
what do we
stays
file
there.
under? Where do we even go? What's our category?
Games and hobbies.
Oh, we are games and hobbies.
Morning
okay.
shows, games and hobbies. Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I
Smart.
did that because guess what? Game Over Greggy show?
Yeah.
Guess what number it is on the top charts?
Of what are we filed under?
Comedy.
2,000.
136 was the last I checked.
We're a small show. The game. Over Greggy show.
136. But to be fair, a lot of other comedy podcasts that you'd imagine are way higher are like, all right, they're like 96. Like,
I mean,
cool.
again, all this is just dick measurement. I don't care about the ratings. I don't check the.
Oh, no.
I don't check the ratings. I'm just being clear.
I enjoy
we
it
care
'cause
about the
I'm
fact that you
interested.
enjoy the show and come back every week. I don't care.
Exactly.
If we have 20 people, if we have 20,000 people listen to the show, great either way. I don't care. We have more than 20,000.
But thank you very much for the support. You can go support the podcast by subscribing on your podcast service of choice for any of the shows, and we'll appreciate you for all of that.
I appreciate you no matter what. Doesn't even matter.
Exactly.
There it is. Look at that. Kind of funny morning
Where's
show.
it at right now?
Number 6.
Number 6.
Number 5, P.S. I Love You. As always in America, the reruns of Car Talk beating us. Number 1 in Games and Hobby. Car Talk, get the fuck out of the Games and Hobby section.
Let them stay. Yeah, someone's doing something illegal with the car talk. Now, also for like just kind of the sense of scale of podcasts and iTunes, Car Talk number 1 in Games and Hobbies. When you look at the overall charts, it's like number 56. So
come on, Car Talk reruns. You step it up. If you're going to beat us,
Car Talk.
This is like, and I'll do some Colin references here. This is like when you're in the NFL and you're like the Green Bay Packers are in the same division as the Chicago Bears. So I always want the Packers to lose. But once they win, I'm like, well, at least play all right in the playoffs so that, our division looks strong. So like the fact that Car Talk's the number 1 in our division and they're just getting clowned out by fucking Donnie and Marie's podcast, I assume.
Donnie and Marie.
Do they have a podcast? They have a podcast for sure. Everyone's got a podcast.
Yeah.
If they're clowning us out, I'm not sure.
Yeah. I'd be clowned out by them. I'd be okay with that.
I bet we're clowning out Donnie and Marie big time.
Really?
Yeah.
So I'm going to beat you to it in the comments. It took over 6 minutes for us to talk about the first topic. Here's the time code, whatever. Nintendo Switch.
Hoo-wee. There it is.
I
The
can
number,
touch
the
it.
Nintendo Switch right here.
I can touch it.
This is our impressions after a week is what we're calling
so
it. We're not doing.
so here's the deal. A lot of websites today, as of March 1st. So this system and Zelda and all that, they're going to be out for everybody in 2 days from now. But by the time this posts, you'll have had it already. Depending on the future past thing we've been through.
Exactly. There's no way to get on.
But the thing is, right now, March 1st, today is when the embargo for Nintendo Switch review coverage went up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of quotes going on here. So a lot of sites have been reviewing the Nintendo Switch. I think this is like ridiculous. And I get that most people are saying it's review in progress and whatever.
Yeah.
The fucking, like, half the functionality of the thing isn't even available.
Right.
yet.
The online doesn't work for us right now.
Yeah.
We can't connect to that.
So I'm like, that's kind of, I don't know. I also don't really, besides getting views and clicks, which
You respect. You
totally
like the hustle.
respect.
You like the hustle.
Appreciate. I mean, hey, we're doing this topic, so it's the same thing. But there's no real reason to review consoles, like especially like when they first come out. Like, what are you reviewing necessarily?
Well, I mean that's the thing about it in general. Just we are lucky now the way that even when we're reviewing a game like we did, the Horizon review. All that means is, hey, the embargo's up so we can say whatever now.
Yeah.
And that's why the Zelda review in progress we did is a review in progress of like, hey, none of us beat it, so we don't feel comfortable. Not only have you and I not beat it, Colin hasn't started it because we only got the 2 Switches. He wants to play on his own unit, and like you and I are the units we bought, we're just giving it kind of funny to have units right here, stuff like that. It's a weird thing, and I don't know, and it is weird to phrase it. I mean, basically what it is that, and I'm the same way. When I went to IGN today, I was like, oh, Nintendo Switch review, open new tab, okay, cool, review in progress. Scroll down, because they've been doing, IGN changes it up,
now.
but they do a thing where it's like, this is what the number is right now. No number on this one, but I read Vince's like summary paragraph, the one I saw.
The
you got a
reason I
number
bring
now?
this up is there was a number.
What's the number now?
If I remember correctly, it was 6.9.
Oh, Fran.
Oh, 7.
I know.
7,
That's what I'm saying.
6.9's a bit more fun.
Nah.
You feel me?
I do feel you. Yeah, but it's like for us, that the problem is that they are serving a different kind of audience. Our audience,
sure.
because you're the best friends and the
6.7.
best human beings in the
6.7.
world.
So it's less fun.
You're out here. and you like to listen to us ramble and talk and just give the opinion.
Exactly.
And when I go to IGN, and it's no offense to Vince, a really long review, and I have 5 minutes before the Kind of Funny morning show, I want to see just the summation of it, which is why I read the last paragraph or whatever.
Absolutely. And so the thing that's interesting here is this caused a shitstorm where all over the Kind of Funny Facebook group and all the internet people are just like, holy shit, this thing, like, I'm canceling my pre-order, or this isn't worth it, or whatever.
People are
and if you didn't have a pre-order, if you're really fucking, you know what you're getting, right?
Yeah.
And you know what you're not getting.
Yeah.
But to give the Nintendo Switch a 6.7, it's just so weird to me, because do I agree with that? I don't disagree with it. You know, right now it is kind of an empty system that doesn't have a lot of features that the other consoles have, and all of these things. But it's like putting a number to the review of a console that doesn't even have its internet, doesn't even have anything. It just seems so unnecessary.
Sure.
And it doesn't service anybody. Like, words, I think, are important. A number, this is one of the cases, like, I actually don't hate the number game. I'm fine with it. I know Colin is vehemently against it.
I don't like it either, but I understand the purpose, which is different.
I think that, like, in certain ways, the number can make sense. I think this is one of those where I'm like, no.
Sure.
There's no point in putting a grade to something right now. At the end of its life cycle, we'll be able to look at the Nintendo Switch and be like,
well, that's the whole point with consoles in general, right? Like, I mean, mainly you want to know, is it work? Is it not, it broken? What's the problems? And I know that's why, like, the tweets have been going around so much of, like, the Joy-Cons getting unsynced or whatever, and, like, having a problem communicating, and people worrying about that shit. And, like, I understand that technical roundup, but again, that's just impressions of it.
Yeah.
Review, I understand what you're saying, where it is, okay, what does it matter? Like, even when I think, when I think of reviews, right, and consoles, I think a lot of, like, when Fran reviewed Xbox One, and, like, that's where the gif of him working out in the Kinect, isn't it? Or was it the review?
we
Kinect?
used that in that, but
okay.
no. That
Okay.
was but
that's the thing of, like,
360, actually, for the Kinect Fitness.
There it is.
Whatever.
But he did review Xbox One, right?
He
I
did
remember talking
review
about
the Xbox One.
And that's the thing of, like, Xbox One was such a different machine back then in terms of what its focus was and where it was going to go and how does it fucking, play your TV and crap like that. Nobody cared about it. Connect was such a big part of it. That's not the thing.
And it's like, I get it from the point of, again, as a company, as somebody that makes content talking about things and giving opinions on things, I get IGN doing it. It's a piece of content people want to see.
Yeah.
And I guarantee they're going to do 5 more. They're going to do it yearly, where Nintendo Switch 2017 review, whatever, and just keep going, because that's where we're at, and there's an audience for that. I just think that the number is so...
That's what gets you.
Yeah, it gets me just because I'm like, it means nothing.
Sure.
And the words do mean something. Reading Vince's words, I'm like, don't disagree with a single thing you're saying.
Yeah.
Makes total sense. But yeah, I mean, now getting to us, like, what we think about it. So we've had it for a little over a week now.
Yeah, we got it
like
last. I left on Wednesday, so we got it Tuesday. So we've had it, a week and a day.
Week and a day.
Yeah.
And I just kind of want, what do you like? What do you not like?
I mean, this is one of those things we're talking about where, I mean, honestly, right now talking about it, I feel so, as we talk about the review score and all of what Vince's words are and all these different things, it's so nice to feel that not any of that weight on me. Because in fact, I love the Nintendo Switch. Like, period, end of statement. And it's like, yeah, sure. Should there be more games? Should there be this? Should there be that? Yeah, of course there should be. But I mean, I guess kind of whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, for me, the indies thing, the Nindies they did, which is, I have a hard time saying.
Yeah.
But the Nindies announcement, right? I went to that. It's a long story, I guess, is what I'm saying. And I'm Greg Miller. And that's what I was talking about, you liking rambling. I'm a Sega kid. I have no affinity to Nintendo. I've never had the attachment to the characters, to the nostalgia, to the things that people really love about Nintendo. So for me, I always feel like an outsider. Even when I buy my GameCube and I buy it because of Twin Snakes, and then I play Animal Crossing, Mario Kart, I fall in love with those games, but it's specific to those games. It's not like that gave me a wealth of history and all the knowledge you guys have about every Mario game out there and stuff like that. And so then even like 3D, when I finally bought a DS Lite, I was like, that was a good system. All right, cool. But again, it was like, all right, League of Asians, a few things. Like, I'm not connecting with it for some reason. I connect with this machine so much. This is a machine that is in so many ways built for my lifestyle.
It's the Vita too.
It is. And I mean, that's the thing to say. And like, I know that we got burned in quotes with the Vita. Where was the support? Where was that? Where was this? I honestly feel, and like people, I'm canceling my pre-order. When people fucking get this in their hands and they start playing Zelda on it, it is a switch of like, it's a switch getting flipped of, this thing's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Like we have a Zelda review in progress up of our Zelda impressions. If you missed that for some reason, Zelda's fucking awesome. And playing it on this is so great. And again, what I was saying in that review of, I don't want to rush Zelda. I don't want to sit there and feel like I had to, for that review, be under the gun, do all these different things. I'm going to milk it in quotes. Not like I'm only going to play it on the plane or like I had thought about it. I'm going to play that game whenever I have a fucking free moment. And when I'm at that Nindy event yesterday, and we're gonna have a let's play up of 3 games I did there where I captured them. I played. I should have brought my notes in.
Next week we're gonna do a topic going through all the Nindy announcements.
Okay, cool. But like the ones I played were all games where I'm like, fuck, this is great. And I'm like, when is this game coming out? And a few of them were like, we can't tell you, real soon. And it's like, oh fuck, okay, great. Like, I'm into your game. I can see myself playing it, and it's exactly what I want in terms of like playing on this thing. I'll have Zelda. I beat Zelda. Mario Kart's right around the corner, which if you want to be a hater, like Colin always throws in my face, like, oh, it's a port. It is a port. I hated the Wii U. I didn't play the Wii U, so I didn't play as much Mario Kart as I wanted. Being able to play you, the best friends on there, being able to play online, being able to play you at the end of the day, totally in for. Beyond, as we go out, you start. But I mean, we're getting into what is going to happen? What do we predict is going to happen? Blah, blah, blah. Just right here. Like, I'm impressed with this machine every time I use it. Like, I love the screen. I do love how easy the controllers are to pop on and pop off. Once I figured out and I've started working with the wrist strap deals, you know what I mean? That. But it's the same thing. Like, as of recording this, if you follow me on social media, last night was the night where it was me, Jen, Scott Lowe, and Neil Druckmann. And we were there, and at the end of the night, or towards, latter half of the night, they were like, well, let's play 1-2 switch. And we walked over there and did it. And every 1-2 switch game starts the same way. What do you have to do? Oh, okay. And then you play it and you're like, fuck. You're laughing. You're being stupid. You're all acting a fool. Mm-hmm. And it is that thing of every time you lose, it is, all right, one more time. I can do this. I can do. And I mean, again, I think 1-2 switch for $50. What I kept saying last night is, I'm like, can you believe they didn't pack this in? This would have been the perfect pack-in of
packing.
Here's this goofy party game, and you're doing all these different things, and these because like when you are doing like the ball count, and it's like, fuck, how many balls are in here? I can feel it. Like the safe cracking game, and they have so many goofy. There's a couple turds in there, but there's a lot of really fun, stupid ones in there. And I think when that gets marked down, a lot of people are gonna pick it up and have fun with it. But even beyond that, it's just speaking to the potential of the system.
Yep.
Here is Zelda. Awesome. Here is Mr. Shifty, which is fucking Hotline Miami, except your Nightcrawler. And it's like, yeah, are you fucking kidding me? You know what I mean? The other explosion spaceship game, the shmup I was playing that I have over there. I'll show it to you. You're going to love it.
Okay.
Like all those indie games I was like, yeah, fuck, these are all really cool. And so if it's what the Vita is now, or what the Vita should have been in a way. But it's like, it's this weird comparison to the Vita of, cool, we're Nintendo. We are putting out first party. This is our console. We are putting out first party awesome games on this. And these Nindies will be there to get you through it for a little bit. Hopefully more come. Hopefully the sales are great and the reception's great. And then you see third parties go, well, why don't we let the people who made Valiant Hearts... Ubisoft is never going to be like, let's make an Assassin's Creed for it. But the Valiant Hearts team could probably make something cool for it. And
Rayman Legends team could definitely use something cool. All the UbiArt stuff. But that's what's interesting about this. We said it was like the Vita 2. Yeah. But in a lot of ways, it's like the Vita and the Wii U, the strengths of those things together. Where it's like you do have the amazing quality first-party games the Wii U had, and you have the indie and portability and all of that stuff of the Vita together. Yeah. And there's no question of cross-buy, no question of cross-save. It's all there. And when you look at the 60 indie games are announced, and they're not just like, oh, here's a bunch of shit you never heard of. It's, hey, here's 10 games you never heard of that look super rad. Yeah. Here's 10 games that have
new content,
certified hits on other systems, but it's the definitive edition. Shout out to Overcooked.
Hell yeah, Overcooked!
Right, and here's a couple other ones that are interesting. Here's a couple reimaginings of old games and all this stuff. It's like, and 2017, they're like, these are all coming this year. Yeah, and it's like, okay, great. We're starting the library starting to come together because you do have the admittedly bare AAA or first party Nintendo game lineup that we know for the year. Yeah. But that does include Zelda, which I can say now is one of my favorite Zeldas, if not my favorite Zelda of all time, and Mario Odyssey coming at the end of the year. Yeah. In between all this other stuff, like for me, I look at the Nintendo Switch as the system I get to play portably and for local multiplayer and party games and stuff like that, and side scrollers and retro style games, platformers, games that speak to me. Yeah. And so far, they're speaking to me very loud and very clear. And for as horrible as that Japanese presentation was that announced the details of the system, the Nindy presentation, did you see it?
No, I was on the way to another event, so I saw all the Nintendo tweets from it. And that's when I was like, oh shit, Overcooked. And oh, this is awesome. Yep. You know what I mean?
17 minutes.
Yeah.
It was the Sony PlayStation E3 conference last year in 17 minutes of starts with a fucking trailer for SteamWorld Dig 2.
Yeah.
Goes straight into the dude. Hey, we got a lot of stuff. Like some guy that was like pretty good on camera. Like, entertaining enough, and it was just like, cool, let's take a look at a bunch of other stuff, and it was just trailer, logos, trailer, done. I'm like, 60 fucking games.
Yeah.
You know, they went through 17 in the thing, and I'm like, it's great, and like, there's so much potential with this. Like, imagine, so we got Stardew Valley coming, right? Game we haven't played, but I can't go to any event without people talking to me about how awesome Stardew Valley is.
Yeah.
So it's like, cool, having that portable, that's going to be fantastic.
And that's the thing about it, right? Is that Stardew Valley, I played like the first 20 minutes of it on PS4 when it came that first night. But I played, okay, this is going somewhere interesting. And I put it down because I did something else. Oh, fuck, Horizon's here. Mm-hmm. Oh, fuck, this is here. Oh, man, Night in the Woods is here. And it's like, that is always going to be a game on my fucking PlayStation 4 that's towards the bottom of the list because there's huge games and different things.
Have you played Night in the Woods at all?
No, because Zelda's here.
Yeah.
That's the problem, right? Where it's like, there's just too much happening right now. I felt so bad because I've been a proponent for a Night in the Woods of every time somebody talks about it, I'm like, they hit me up for PAX 2 years or whatever, last PAX. PAX, we're going to East, so we're in West or whatever.
West, yeah.
And we're like, come and just do this, or maybe it's PSX, doesn't matter. And they're like, it's like gone home, but it's in this different thing. I'm like, I'm fucking in, totally. But I'm just not able to. A game like Stardew on this has a chance. In the same way, there's so many games I put on my Vita that I'm like, I'll play that on Vita, where I never would have played that spider game on PS4. Mm-hmm. Not because it's bad, just because there's way too much competition there.
Yep.
And I mean, for me, that was the coming off of DICE, where, you know, an hour and a half flight to Vegas and an hour and a half flight home, let alone in the hotel room. That was exactly what I wanted it to be. Where I'm on the plane, I sit down, I have my water, and as soon as like I sit down, I pull it out and I'm there and I'm playing, and I literally, it's like, oh fuck, we're landing. You know what I mean? Like it's an amazing game, and if they can put out more like that, if they can do more stuff like that, and I mean AAA, of course, and I do mean indies and stuff like that. Yeah. And that's the thing where I think the screen's bigger than the Vita. I think the games I was seeing yesterday, for the most part, are prettier than most games I've seen on the Vita. And I think that comes from the ability to dock it and put it to the TV. And that was what was surprising about me too, is I still to this day haven't personally played Zelda on my TV with this. Last night I let Neil fuck around with it. When I got to the hotel room for DICE, after I really finally sunk my teeth into Zelda, it was that thing of like, I played it in, you know, bed every so often or on the couch when I was killing time. And it was that thing of like, fuck, I should have packed the dock. You know what I mean? And it was that I already had everything else. Mm-hmm. I had this, I had the power plug. Literally all I didn't bring was the dock. I think I even have an HDMI cable in my bag at all times. It was like, shit, that would have been easy and that would have been awesome because it is as seamless as they talk about, and there you go. And I was there like, you know, 5 days. I totally would have been pulling it in, pulling it out, and doing all these different things. Yeah,
I mean, from the system perspective, I've been loving mine as well.
Yeah.
And I specifically with the Pro controller on the TV, I'm like, it's great. This is so, it's what the Wii U wasn't in so many ways. I'm just like, I like this. I really, really like this.
Yeah.
And playing portably, I'm having a great time with it. The Joy-Con separate controllers where it's kind of like the Wii U or the
like
Wii
this,
nunchuck.
Basically, if I was just sitting around
that,
playing like this.
Like, I'm also totally fine with it. I haven't experienced any of the issues of like the connectivity or whatever, but I also haven't played that much with it because that's not how I want to play.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't. I thought about it really briefly on the flight back that I was gonna put on the table and play like this, and I never did. Yeah. And it was mainly because as soon as I did, it was like, oh, we have to turn off airplane mode to do this, and I was like, nah, it's not worth it right now. I'm not, just to fuck around with. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, I feel like the controllers feel great attached to the system though. Separate is a little janky, but again, not gonna play that way.
Sure.
Playing the Joy-Con grip, that's when my friends come over and I'll give them that controller.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's the shitty third-party controller equivalent. But the Pro controller is great, and it's super sturdy, charges super fast. And that's the other thing with the battery life. I haven't had any issues so far on the multiple flights I've been on.
Yeah.
Granted, they were to LA, which is not too far, but I never had an issue of being like, oh fuck, I'm like getting really low on this thing.
Yeah.
And I've been playing a lot at home when Gio's watching TV and shit. And when I do need to charge it, because it's USB-C, it charges so quickly that I'm like, all right, cool. Like this seems fantastic.
Yeah, that was the thing in at the end of Vince's review, and I haven't read the entire thing, but he was saying, as a handheld, it's powerful in this, but it's not great because of the battery and all that stuff. And I was like, I haven't run into that. And again, hour and a half, like I said, and it was an hour and a half flight to Vegas with a little bit of playing, before I got on the flight, and airplane mode, brightness down, and that when I landed, I had 50% battery.
Yeah.
And so going, I guess the real test for it is going to Boston next week. And our plan is, but this is what we're talking about of like, I'm trying to think of the times where I'm without power for that long. Because that flight, I'm not. I have the plug between my seats. I have it all set to go. I still think I can use my power packs, even though you talk me out of it because you want me to fry it in a test thing.
Just Google it.
I will. But I mean, that's, it's like, it's not a concern for me. Do I wish it went forever? Of course. I wish it had a 12-hour battery and everything was amazing. But like, it's so easy to port around already. And again, like even at the airport when I was waiting for my flight, I'm sitting at those chairs that have the power plugs there. If I really was worried about it, I could do there and get a jump start and be ready to go or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing is they advertise people going to the park and playing. I've never done that. I'm never going to do that. Yeah. So, like, again, here's my thing. And I keep kind of reiterating the same point, but this system has a lot of faults. If you play games in a lot of ways that people don't play games. Mm-hmm. If you just look at this for what does it mean to you, I think it's really easy to come to a decision of is it for you or not. It is for me entirely. I'm totally happy with it. 100%. I'm not happy with a lot of the decisions they made. I'm not happy that I don't have Virtual Console yet and that, so many things are weird. I don't get the scheduling. I don't know why so much of it is, when's this coming? I don't know, but we'll tell you soon. Yeah. Like, why did we not know Snipper Clips was a launch game until days before launch?
I mean, I bet because they saw the reaction that was getting, like, fuck, we have to get it out.
But there's so many questions even right now. Like, I bet by the time that this episode goes live, there's games that we don't know a release date for that we're going to get a release date for in the next couple of days. Yeah. Like, it's really weird where it does seem like it's just makeshift and people are just fucking throwing things together. But what's also shocking is going back a couple months, like looking at all those reports of developers being interviewed and like, are you working on anything for the Switch? And it was just like 80% of or 85% of developers are not working on Switch games. And then all of a sudden it's like, 60 indies are just boom announced and with so little detail about release dates. Like, that type of stuff just seems weird to me, but it also seems good in terms of it seems easy to develop things quickly. The
one thing, and this is, I mean, scuttlebutt to the nth degree. A source I trust that I ran into yesterday, with knowledge on the indie scene, made a comment to me of, don't believe that Nintendo is being friendly to indies. Like it's not all is not what that seems. And it was one of those, we need to follow up and have a different conversation about it.
Interesting.
But then I get there and it is like that indie event was super indie. Like those were people there and I don't know what that means. Maybe it's just lines are crossed. Maybe there's a personal conflict there that people don't like each other. I don't know what that, I don't even know what that really fucking means. I know that there was a room of awesome indie games there. I know that I had, I think, heard of Mr. Shifty, never seen it, and you know how I am, no offense, well, I don't care. I wouldn't play it on PC if it, you know what I mean? Like, I would be like, that game looks great, not for me. Totally gonna play it here. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, yeah, 1,000% in.
I also think it's great that Jackbox Party Pack 3 was announced for it and like other games like that because, again, I think Nintendo has a special thing about it when it comes to local multiplayer and the fact that we know Mario Kart's coming. Yeah. I'm sure we're going to get Smash at some point. And it's like, all right, cool. All the things that I love my Wii U for, I'm going to love this thing for. But I am going to get to enjoy all the Vita indie games on one console.
I mean, that would be the promise of this device. And especially if we're going to keep comparing to the Vita, right? Is that it's not and it can't be Vita because Nintendo can't abandon it. Mm-hmm. Nintendo has nowhere to go, right? They have to make the third party, or I'm sorry, they have to make their first party exclusives. This is a Nintendo exclusive game you're going to get. So then if it is the peppered out indies, if it is the peppered out, not ports because that's hard to get excited for, but you know what I mean? Like if it is like somewhere in the middle, but it's not, if it's not, I don't, obviously you're paying, it's so weird because you talk about Vita and if it's like that and what it is and what it can learn. Obviously, Vita didn't attract third parties, but in the end, I think in the beginning people were trying, right? And I really feel that's going to be the difference here. It's the cart before the horse a bit, or like what the Vita resigned to be. Mm-hmm. When people hold this, and so many people are going to hold it for Zelda, and somebody else picks it, I can't get over how much I just like holding it. And that's the thing about it. And granted, it's new tech, so it's new hardware, but it feels great, and I love the way it's playing, and I love the way it feels. And even to, to dial it back, walk it back a bit. Like, you weren't wrong about the Joy-Con grip. Like,
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
I played it a few times at a different events in passing. Like it was like at RTX Sydney. I think it was the first time I held it. Right, I forget. And I played it for like 5 minutes. Like, wow, I don't know, this feels weird. Blah, blah. And then at that event yesterday, because again, I've only played it like this.
Yeah.
At the event yesterday when I was running around doing it, I played Kevin, can you go to my desk and just get me the little note cards off the thing? It's a purple note card. It's like exploding something or other of the game. I played that, which is the shmup in the ship with all the cool powers. I liked it a lot. And then played Mr. Shifty that way and a couple other games with that thing. And I was like, all right, no, this is good. This is fine. I want the Pro Controller. Mine comes on Friday. Again, you know what I mean?
All I'm saying is when you have the Joy-Cons in the Joy-Con grip thing, it feels like a real controller. It doesn't feel like some shitty makeshift thing. It's like, oh shit, this is fine. I hate the buttons. They're too small. The only way I'm okay with that is when it's attached to this. Having said that, like, if the Nintendo Switch has a Nintendo Switch Pro, Nintendo Switch XL, whatever the fuck it is, I'm buying it. Like, I will trade mine in, like, take the hit on it. I don't care. Like, I do want bigger buttons. Or hopefully just give me bigger button Joy-Cons.
Yeah. Okay, don't worry about it.
But anyway, that's all exciting. But there is little things that do bother me, like the kickstand.
What about it?
Break. It's going to break.
Is it? Because it feels great so far.
Really?
Yeah. I keep expecting it to be more wobbly than it is.
I mean, it holds the thing up great. But I'm saying, like, that thing's going to be...
Pops back in.
I give it a month.
Oh, wait, what? I mean, I don't think I use it that often. And that's the whole thing is there's so many use cases to this thing of like like we're talking about how good it feels, right? Even the Joy-Cons popped out, which I think is a dumb look or whatever, and it's weird. Like playing 1-2 Switch last night for literally an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe fucking around with it. Like it felt natural. Like the little guy in your hand feels like it's supposed to, like it should feel. Like, you know what I mean? And it is that thing of like, I thought about it on the plane of playing with the things detached, like we talked about a second ago. And I'm like, that doesn't seem like that'd be a great way to play Zelda, but it's like, well, now, no, it feels totally normal, and this does feel like a gun, and it does feel like I should be doing yoga or whatever. I'm milking these fucking weird buttons for milking the cow, and like, it's like, this actually has a really cool device. It's a really cool device.
I'm excited to see what they do with Virtual Console because just imagine playing like Mario 64 on this portably. Like that's exciting, and it sucks that it's not all available yet. But I do think that we are kind of the beta testers for this thing,
100%.
And it is just kind of trying to get that install base ready for the big moves to be made from third parties and from other stuff. Is that being hopeful? Absolutely, but I am hopeful about this. I'm enjoying my time with it a lot, and again, I just think that people need to look at it for what they're looking to get out of the console, because I see this as a handheld. I don't see it as a console.
Exactly.
And I love the fact that it works how I wish a handheld, like previous handhelds would, where I could just attach it to TV. I wish Vita had a better way to just play video games on TV and have it be as instant or whatever. I know there are ways.
Sure.
But they never work the way I want them to.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's always some kind of thing. This is like made for that. And that's the whole point. Yeah.
And I love that I've had use case scenarios where I'm playing it portably. I've had use case scenarios where I'm playing on TV. And I've had times where I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Like I don't want to be having to look down like this. I want to be able to multitask a bit. So I have put it in the tabletop mode using a Pro controller, using this as a little TV. Like, I like that there's those options, and I can't wait for more games to, like, real substantial games to come out to see how I end up playing the majority of things. But I think it's going to be portably.
Graceful Explosion Machine is the game I'm looking for that I like.
Okay.
It reminds me of Pixel Junk, but it's more of a Pixel Junk shooter, obviously, but more of a shmup and faster combat, and it has a bit of like it doesn't look like this at all. It looks like a Pixel Junk game, so cartoony and bright, but it has the dash ability of like a Housemarque game or something like that, and the shoots missiles, different enemies to shoot and stuff like that. I'm a big fan.
Any closing words on Nintendo Switch?
I mean, it's one of those, maybe we'll look back in a year and it'll be like, nope, this totally went the way of a Vita. Nobody supported it and da-da-da-da-da. I do think people are going to hold this machine and really like this machine. And a part of that, of course, is Zelda. But then even getting beyond how great Zelda is and looking into the machine and the make of it and the feel of it, like I think there's going to be, man, I want to play more games on this. And since we're saying that now at the onset versus when we had a million Vita games, but they were all fucking using touch or whatever, I don't want to play games like this. That's a different statement.
Yeah.
And if Nintendo can just get out in front and keep the positivity going, you know what I mean? Of like, we have these indies, great. Here's how Virtual Console is going to roll. Here's Mario. Here's Kart. Here's this. Here's that.
Mm-hmm.
Here is the Mario. Get us to E3. Show us what's happening. But I mean, it's one of those. Nick put it really well, which is funny for not Nick like he's an idiot, but like because I don't think he follows the video game industry like we do. In the way of when we were talking about it on the morning show a couple weeks ago, before we got him. And he was like, yeah, he's like, the read I get on it is the fact that, yeah, it had that bad announcement conference, but people still left like, I want to like this. This still seems cool. It's just a shitty thing. And it did this thing, I think, where all the goofy news, the awkwardness of it, blah, blah, it like took out the legs for a second, but it was able to get back up, but expectations have been lowered. And I really do think the machine exceeds those expectations when you pick it up. And so, yeah, like you said, if you've pre-ordered it, you're keeping your pre-order. And when you get your hands on it, you're gonna be like, this is fucking cool. I want to play more things on this.
Yeah, a lot of the reviews coming out today, just to not to start a whole other conversation, but I thought it was interesting because Jason Schreier, for example, tweeted out that if you don't have a Wii U or a Switch and you're trying to get it for Zelda, get a Switch for Zelda. Like don't get a Wii U for Zelda.
Oh, sure.
But like if you can hold off, you should wait for the next iteration, like the XL or the Pro or whatever the hell it is of the Switch. And it's like I get that, but at the same time, like, man, I just can't imagine not wanting to play Zelda now. And then but it is available on Wii U. Like it's an interesting thing to think about. Like I got a lot of runtime out of my Wii U, but like I don't need to play Zelda on it. Like I will buy a Switch for it. I am Nintendo's audience. Like I am the sucker, so it's like I get that. But even if I wasn't that, like you, for example, like you could have played Zelda on the Wii U.
To dial this back to a point I laid the groundwork for, and I think I got off of, as I often do. I'm not a Nintendo guy. I have no affinity for Nintendo in a way. Like I totally respect them. Don't get me wrong. And I have plenty of good Nintendo memories. But like this is the first Nintendo console where I feel like I'm like, this is awesome on every level. You know what I mean? Like, and don't get me wrong. I had a Game Boy SP clamshell, and I was like, that was cool. But like, it was a pain in the. I forget what my complaints were at the time.
There's no headphone jack.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. And like, there's always little things to it where even like the DS Lite, where it was like, this is cool, but it's like. It's not I love my PSP, you know what I mean? When I had my PSP, like that was like the machine for me. This feels like sexy tech. It feels cool. It feels like a great jumping in point for somebody who wasn't here. And especially for it to be like somebody who, for me, like you put it really well in the review where you're talking about like it is the original Legend of Zelda and Ocarina of Time, had this baby or whatever for that game. And I was, Ocarina of Time is my first Zelda game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I loved Majora's Mask. But then for me, we did start stepping away from what I knew as Zelda, what I knew a Zelda game to be. And so, from there, I don't think I really enjoy a Zelda game. And I mean, like, enjoy, like, I fucking think about it and I have fond memories about till Link Between Worlds. And I played, we talked about earlier, the Twilight Princess, and I played Skyward Sword for a short amount of time. And I was like, this is definitely not my game. And so to jump back in and have Zelda there and feel like feel like, this is familiar to what a Zelda game is, but this hardware is new and cool and awesome, and I do want to show it off and I do want to use it all the time. I mean, I'm over the moon happy with it. But again, I think my expectations were low of like, is Zelda going to be able to perform after Horizon? Is this thing going to be a piece of shit? All these different things. And so far, I'm happy as hell.
Hell yeah, son. Hope you enjoyed that Kind of Funny Gamescast. If you did, you can make sure you subscribe here to Kind of Funny Games. And if you want content that's not games related, you can go here, subscribe to Kind of Funny. And if you want to support us and help us make cooler stuff, Patreon, it's right there, doing cool stuff. I love you. See you guys next week.